Okay. Logan is going to do it 2 times, and then you will do it. Are you a little excited? You can go ahead and take it, and I'll just let you know. Okay, now one. Good morning, everyone. I'm Teresa Poole, and I have the honor and privilege of being your worship associate today. We want to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke. And if this is your first time with us, a special welcome, and we hope you'll join us for coffee hour after the service. And we also get to welcome the people joining us virtually on the YouTube channel. Also, if you do want to share for the YouTube people, if you do want to share a special interest or special prayer during the Lifelines part of the service, if you'll please put that in the chat feature within the next 15 minutes, we'll make sure that we are able to share that as well. Okay. Our minister here at UUCR is the Reverend Walter LaFleur, and he is on his summer sabbatical. He'll return to us in August. Our guest speaker today is one of our own, Jean Larson. She just finished a term a year ago as the board clerk. She is a retired English professor from Hollins University. She also is a published poet, and she told me just today that she had also written some fiction back in the 90s. And yeah, so learn another thing about the people that you hang with. Okay, she is going to be talking with us today on pilgrimage and perseverance. So I'm looking forward to that and some more inspiration. We have a lot of gifted people in UUCR, so it's a blessed community. A reminder to all of us that we need to silence our cell phones. And now we'll do our words of welcome. And please recite with me if you choose. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of the holy. As you come seeking love, your presence here is a gift. Whether you are filled with sadness, overflowing with joy, needing to be alone, or eager to engage with others, all who welcome all are welcome here. And also, we would like to recite our covenant now. We commit to supporting each other with, it's not up there yet? Okay, I told you, Carrie, that would be the problem. Okay, reading of the covenant. Okay. Each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world. And now we'll have our opening music.
Good morning, everybody. We are going to sing a hymn from, it's there somewhere. There it is. From our gray hymnal, Singing the Living Tradition. And this is Come, Come, Whoever You Are. And it's going to come, so I'll stall and tell you what we're going to do. We're going to sing it once all together, and then we're going to sing it as a round. So if you're on Martha's side, you'll be in group 1. You just start singing when Martha waves her arms. And if you're on Catherine's side, including the people on the back wall there, okay, you all will be group 2. So you will go second. Okay. And this is how I have to talk to the choir. Okay, so to get it to work. Okay, so but we'll all sing it together. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, come, come, whoever you are.
All right, your presence here is a gift, and ours is no caravan of despair. It's good that you're here. You're going to hear a lot from me, so I will just, for now, say welcome.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of life.
And we had fun in the children's message when Jesse was gone, and I still admire Bonnie Evans' courage to let other people get in her purse. But we have our Jesse back today, too.
Hello, I am back from Susie. I think I left part of my voice there. Perhaps the teens took it. But I'm going to invite everybody who is young and young at heart to come down for a story. Now, this is a story that I wrote about an experience that I had, and I wanted to share it with you guys today. It's called The Hike I Took. I saw a star above my town, and I wanted to visit. So I put on my shoes and grabbed my water bottle and started to hike. I went past houses and churches. I went past restaurants and shops. I waved to my neighbors, all on the hike I took. When I got to the trees, it was time to climb. I made sure to stay on the path and look out for sticks and rocks so I didn't fall on the hike I took. I climbed up a mountain on the hike I took. Look what's getting a little closer. The star. I met a new friend who helped me find my way and some scouts who gave me some safety tips. Does anybody have a safety tip for hiking? Don't fall. Easier said than done, I think. I saw, what did I see? Butterflies and other insects, and even someone's garbage. I picked it up. Never litter. That's a good hiking tip, too. I slipped once or twice. I needed a bandage. I even got tired on the hike I took. I hiked and I hiked, discovering new things until finally I reached the star. And it was worth the hike I took. And it's easier to go back down. Thank you for that advice, man. We are going to head that away and have an adventure of our own upstairs in Jedi Academy.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the light of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Well, I think we all know we're mighty lucky to have the staff we do, but I'm reminded yet again how lucky we are as well to have the worship associates doing what they do. And the message is a little closer to the mic. Ah, got it. Thank you. Well, because this I'd like you to hear this. This is a poem by Amanda Gorman, a recent Harvard graduate, called Closure. To begin again isn't to go backwards, but to decide to go. Our story is not a circle carved, but a spiral, shed, shaped, spinning. Shifting inward and outward ad infinitum like a lung on the bank of speech. Breathe with us. We disembark both beside and beyond who we were, who we are. It is a return and a departure. We spiral on, pushing up and out like a growing thing, making its form out of earth. In a poem, there's no end, just a place where the page glows wide and waiting, like a lifted hand poised and paused. Here is our bond unbordered by bone. Perhaps love is how it feels to breathe the same air. All we have is time, is now. Time takes us on. How we are moved says everything about what we are to each other. And what are we to each other, if not everything? I'm going to give this book to the first person who asks for it after the service, if you promise not to ban it. The second reading is just a paragraph or so from a brief informal essay by the pretty famous scholar of religion, Houston Smith. The object of pilgrimage is not rest and recreation to get away from it all. To set out on a pilgrimage is to throw down a challenge to everyday life. Nothing matters now but this adventure. At home or abroad, things of the world pull us toward them with such gravitational force that if we are not alert our entire lives, we can be sucked into their outwardness. Attentive travel helps us to see this because the continually changing outward scene helps us to see through the world's pretensions. With its phantasmagoric, kaleidoscopic character laid bare, we see it for what it truly is, perpetually perishing illusion, and the world loses its wager. We can understand how perpetual wandering can be a spiritual vocation. I'm not giving that book away. So again, greetings to you who showed up on a warm July morning, and also to the ethereal beings out there in YouTube. I want to start with a shout out to my friend, the artist Nancy Dahlstrom, who once made a print with the title that I stole for this sermon. I did put quotation marks. Keep going, get there. It's a wonderfully crafted image of a determined looking turtle, 1 foot lifted. Step, step, step. Keep going, it says. That's an image that I, for one, really need. So, okay, picture this. It's a hot morning in the September of 1999, and I am on my 7th and final day of following a pilgrimage route made up of 34 temples scattered around a broad river basin not far from Tokyo. It's a little after 9 a.m., and I am worn out. I plop down on a big rock among the rice fields along the road that leads away from temple number 33, where I have just paid my respects to the Buddhist figure who is the focus of this route, Avalokiteshvara, or Kannon, whom Westerners used to call the goddess of mercy, who is in fact the gender-fluid bodhisattva of compassion. I let the 2 shoulder bags I'm toting drop. If something inside breaks, I do not care. Fact is, I'm carrying less than I carried all summer when I thought I was traveling light. Maybe that's what I'm meant to learn, something about lightening up. But truthfully, I've discovered that the less I carry, the more I care for what I've got. Good thing I've got this toenail clipper. Oh, I love this useful little Ziploc plastic bag. Anyway, I'm slumped down on that sunstruck rock. I have 0 energy and 0 idea what to do. I am alone. Basically, I'm lost, and I don't know how to fix it. I consider weeping, but it doesn't really seem worth the effort. I've been walking a lot, although I'm not doing the whole pilgrimage on foot. So I'm worn out physically. I'm worn out emotionally, too. There's culture shock, of course. And besides, I've been traveling solo for the past month. I'm tired of talking with not very good grammar and having a stinking foreign accent, and doing stupid, making choices of, how do you say, the words. I'm really, really tired of trying to figure out strange bus schedules and unpronounceable place names and maps that are based on principles of map making quite unlike the ones I grew up with. Plus, all that aside, a recent email told me that my father's lung cancer is not going to get better. Also, well, I'm usually quite the planner when I travel, but I left the last bit of this week's journey totally up in the air. It was just too hard to figure out the hazy information about transportation in my Pilgrim Guidebook, available for show and tell at coffee hour. And frankly, as far as practical information goes, the writers of that wonderful guidebook kind of slacked off for the last part of the route. There are multiple bus companies, although I have no idea how to find any bus stop right now. So I've got multiple sketchy sketch maps purportedly showing the way to Temple 34. Each of them subverts the others. It's 1999, remember. There's no handy dandy look it up, no map app, no Siri. And here's my point. All of this, the confusion, the exasperation, the whininess, the fatigue, it was good practice for the 2020s, I think. I don't know about you all, but these days, too, I am awash in a sea of dubious information. I am tired of communication breakdowns, and I definitely feel like I need a better map. Still, back on that hot morning in 1999, I've got to somehow cover the considerable distance to the final temple, wherever it is, and then find a train station that I have never been to, and get myself back to Tokyo and then across the city to attend a very important lecture at my host institution this evening and take a shower. I should have time to complete the pilgrimage today if only I knew how. Or I tell myself, maybe I'll give up on finishing, just find the train station somehow, and then go straight to Tokyo. And then, I can come back to visit Temple 34 some other time, right? Well, while 1999 Jean ponders that, I will tell you another thing that has brought her down after a whole week of receiving kindness after kindness from interesting strangers. I somehow annoyed the priest back at Temple 33 just now. Maybe I looked around too much before ringing the buzzer to let him know officially that I was here. Or maybe it's because I caught him in his skivvies when I first sashayed in, looking like the gigantic foreign demon of his most xenophobic nightmares. So we both had to pretend that he was invisible until he zipped back into his quarters, donned his formal robe, and hurried to the main hall just for me. I have to say now, it's his temple, it's his culture. I was the pain in the neck outsider. Plus, that priest absolutely did what he was supposed to do. He accepted my 400 yen, he got out his writing brush and his official stamps, and he inscribed and stamped my pilgrimage record book. And so he did something like that. Very cool. He dealt with my questions about sacred images. He blessed me many times, maybe sincerely wanting to stretch himself past his negative response to the weirdo woman with a big mouth and bigger feet. But he was not happy. All that means that there is no way I am going to go back and trouble him some more for directions. And the rice fields are empty. There's no one around to ask. I should also tell you that one reason for my tiredness is that the day before was glorious. I'd been given a crucial pilgrim lesson that certainly seems useful in 2023, a lesson in letting go of my intentions, going with what's present, and allowing the pilgrimage to transport me. Yesterday, when I had planned, wrongly as it happens, where I would take a bus and where I would walk, I wound up twice accepting spontaneous offers of help. Twice, people gave me rides that I've later realized like totally saved me from flat out failing to finish the route. Also on that yesterday, I'd had not one, but two ecstatic experiences. First, outside Temple 31, up in the hills, I wandered onto a side trail among the pine trees and the rhododendrons, and I stumbled on the mouth of a little cave. The small hand-painted sign at the cave mouth said Tainai Koguri, which means secret passage through the womb. It surely has to do with the esoteric training practices of those steel-muscled, hardcore ascetics called Yamabushi, meaning mountain warriors. No one was around. So I rolled up my drip-dry travel skirt around my waist. I slithered through the cave's narrow tunnel on my back, sensible shoes and sky blue cotton panties first. And then, yep, in a few meters, I popped out onto the trail below. I could have broken a leg. I could have gotten wedged in and died. I was reborn. For the next hour, I kept having these little tiny surges of hysteria and then letting them pass on through. It's a skill I've been using again a lot these days. Second experience. Come afternoon of that wonder-filled day before I found myself sitting hopeless on that rock on the grounds of Temple 32, Dharma Nature Temple, I clambered up to the flat top of Stone Boat Mountain, also called the Peak of Perfect Understanding, because some random guy out walking his dog near the temple's main worship hall told me I should push on and go there to the inner sanctum. That was right after I decided to skip the hard part. I mean, I can tell a divine messenger when I meet one. At least that's why I was doing this pilgrimage. I wanted to live for a while in a world where there are divine messengers. So I ignored the warnings in my little guidebook about fatal falls, which, by the way, I could read with total clarity, and started climbing. Soon, up on Stoneboat Mountain on a like McAfee's Knob kind of ledge overlooking the rumpled river basin, its villages and woodlands, I bowed in respect not only to the sacred images on the mountaintop, but to the pilgrim humans who had come before me, especially the humans who carved the little tiny footholds in the rock face that I had to clamber up to get there, and the ones who forged the slightly rusty handhold chains. I got it then about the interconnectedness of things, that interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. I gave a green tea candy to the image of Canon up there, she who steers the mountain's 300-foot-long sandstone boat of perfect understanding. Courage, which is not an easy thing for me, was paying off. And then near that day's end, I took a chance. I ignored the advice of the priest's wife at Dharma Nature Temple. And rather than taking a bus back to my slightly shabby inn, I followed the mountain path over a ridge, just like in Jesse's book. That's how I came to see a small shrine, call it Shinto, not Buddhist if you want a label, to a deity of male genitalia, which is what the sign said. And there were certain donated artifacts that verified what I thought I had read. So if you take the mountain path, you get a cool surprise. Next, moving on down through the evergreens, past little farmhouses and a weedy playground, I spotted an inscription chiseled by some devotee into a creekside bluff. I cannot imagine how long it took, all that chiseling. The inscription let me know that this ground too was holy, was also like the carved wooden images, like the achy lump of hamburger I'd been dragging for all these miles, an embodiment, one that is unreal and limited and temporarily enduring all at once. Well, before we get back to the next day's poor, weary, overwhelmed 1999 Jean, who is still pouting on her shadeless sitting rock, I want to remind you that pilgrimage is a staple of so many faith traditions. Surely that suggests its value. A good Muslim who has the means is required to make the Hajj to Mecca, right? And you may have seen reviews of a brand new movie called The Miracle Club about the Catholic sanctuary of Our Lady of Lourdes in Southwest France. It is a tearjerker with Maggie Smith. I have got to see it. I have also stood with other Gentiles near the Western Wall below Temple Mount in Jerusalem, where many devout Jews go to pray. I'm never going to make it to India, but the models for the kind of route pilgrimage I did in Japan, as opposed to the single focus there and back ones, live in the manifold traditions that we kind of lump together under Hinduism. And yes, in England, I have followed more or less, I was on a train, a crew of tale tellers to a certain cathedral in Canterbury where the holy, blissful martyr, Thomas Becket, was murdered. It meant a lot to me. But you don't have to believe in any of these religious traditions and what they say. All you have to do if you want to be a pilgrim, if you want to commit to a journey that will teach you and change you, if you want to experience the joys and challenges that come with time in a space of meaning, is show up, digitally works, at UUCR. Want proof? 1. Traditionally, pilgrims often mark themselves as such. On the Camino de Santiago, they wear a scallop shell. Sadly, UUCR lacks the church hat tradition of some Protestant communities. We should change that. But I see some pretty nice looking outfits out there. And most of us at least like put on a clean t-shirt for Sunday morning, right? And then we don our name tags. The way that the most gung-ho pilgrims in Japan wear white outfits, or at least a white vest and old-timey hats. Here I am doing this thing, our name tags say. 2, certainly when you come in the building, you enter a special space, a sanctum even. It's marked as such by seraphim called greeters who welcome you at the door. 3, hey, we may even, in the traditional manner, bring home reminders of this extraordinary journey. I do recycle my order of service, I promise, but I usually carry it back home first. It's like a little stamp in some invisible pilgrimage record book. 4, you may have chosen this community to get away from a childhood marked by what to you is empty ritual. Fine. But for folks like me who find freedom and a source of comfort in the grace-filled framework of structured words and structured movement, well, please line up at both sides of the altar when the time for candle lighting comes. It's a beautiful ritual. 5, as anthropologists will tell you, pilgrimage takes us out of ordinary time. One way it does that is by defying ordinary chronology. On the pilgrim road, we travel with those who have walked before, learn a little UU history, and you will find that we UUCR pilgrims are fellow travelers with Louisa May Alcott and Frances Ellen Watkins Harper and Bela Bartok and Edvard Grieg and Rod Serling and Ida B. Wells and Dorothea Dix and, okay, P.T. Barnum, but many more. 6. So yeah, in this UU cat herd that's roiling through the centuries, you are not walking alone. I did often feel lonely during that time in Japan, but I also savored almost every person I encountered. Similarly, these days I walk into coffee hour, wonderful coffee hour, thank you, here at UUCR feeling shy and geeky every time. And every time that I gather my courage and enter into conversation, I touch base with a sense of fellowship that truly strengthens my heart. 7, last. Most important is that if we choose to, we come here with the openness to experience, the hunger, the willed and fuller awareness, the determination and the reasons for determination that a proper pilgrim knows. And that is what we can for sure take home with us. So did I ever get up from that rock outside the gate of Temple 33 in Chichibu? Did I make it to Temple 4 and then back to Tokyo, or am I still sitting there? Did I stay stuck in my 2023-ish feelings of overwhelmedness, worry, and exhaustion? Or did I eventually shove my useless maps and gibberish-filled guidebook into my bag, stand up, and start walking? And later that day, did I have a whole bunch more delightful and meaningful and educational encounters with a whole bunch more interesting and kind human beings who helped me carry on? Well, what did Amanda Gorman say in that poem I read you? To begin again isn't to go backwards, but to decide to go. This last part of my story about the last day of that pilgrimage was no big deal, really. I did not reach deep inside myself and make a mighty effort of the will. And I know full well that sometimes some of us, even the ones who are at the moment able-bodied, really just can't find a standing up. That's okay. But on that morning in 1999, when I didn't know where I was going or what to do when I got there, the first thing I had to do was stand. So I stood, that's all. I started walking. As the Irish priest says in the trailer for that movie I mentioned, you don't go to Lourdes for a miracle. You go for the strength to go on when there is no miracle. Now, I did promise the folks who are savvy enough to read the UUCR weekly update in their email that today I would offer some wisdom from John Wayne. So let's take that American icon and let him take us out. You know, John Wayne and the characters he played did not call people pilgrim nearly as often as people tend to think. But in the 1962 film, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, his character, who is a tough, crusty, good-hearted Western rancher, calls a fancy pants newcomer dude pilgrim exactly 25 times. There's a YouTube video, it's great. Here are 2 of the things he says to the pilgrim who, like all of us, has a lot to learn. You're a persistent cuss, pilgrim, and don't fret about that, pilgrim. That's what I most hope you'll take with you on your onward journey from this moment. Do less fretting, pilgrims. It's hard sometimes, maybe actually hard, really hard, in this summer of smoke and shootings and angst. But even when you're alone, you're really not. You may well find spiritual uplift or a cave to crawl through, or an inscription carved into a cliff, or at least a good story or a friend right around the next bend in the trail. So be a persistent cuss. Thank you.
I am a poor, wayfaring stranger, traveling through the world alone. There's no sickness, no toil, nor danger in that bright land to which I go. I'm going there to see my father and all my loved ones who've gone on. I'm just going over Jordan. I'm just going over home.
Most temples are kind of family businesses, and so there's a very old joke about how a priest kid grows up, being able to distinguish the look of a Thank you. That's great. Should I take it from the top? All right. Oh, all right. I'm warming up to an old joke. But you need to know that in Japan, most temples are a family business. So the joke is that the kids of the family grow up and they can tell the difference between the beautiful cling of a 100 yen coin as opposed to the of a 10 yen coin. Take care of yourself, but please give what you can.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going, but we know we're there, and we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. It will be hard, we know, and the road will be muddy and rough, but we'll get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, we are going. Heaven knows where we are going, but we know we will. And we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there, but we know we will. Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah,
Turn it down. Yes. Just like that, so it's pointing at me. I read your instructive email, but I'm still standing on my toes. There we are. Thank you, Betsy, and all the wonderful audiovisual volunteers and skilled people. I'm Terry Smith, here to represent the Caring Committee. This portion of the program, Lifelines, is one of our services to this community. We catalog the joys and concerns of our friends and members and share them as you wish. If you'd like to have something included in the Lifelines, those watching YouTube can use the chat feature to send us your message, but you have to do that early in the service. And I don't see any signal from the back saying, come get this message. That's good. Or you can call the church office or contact one of the members of the caring committee. I have a few things I'd like to tell you today. And first of all, it's to explain why I'm up here and Linda Wood is not. She has been sidelined with pneumonia. So please keep healing thoughts for her. And a great big congratulations to Sarah Divers, who is now a great grandmother. Her great grandson, Zealand, was born on Friday, July the 21st, a month early, but mom, baby, and dad are all doing well. And now, if you have a joy or concern in your heart, we invite you to come forth to light a candle. And I'll be assisted by
Shall we gather at the river, where bright angels sing us home, with this crystal tide forever, like tide of dawn of God. Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints on the river that flows by the throne of God. On the margin of the river, washing up its silver spray, we will walk and worship ever on a happy golden day. Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints on the river that flows by the throne of God. Soon we'll reach the shining river. Soon our pilgrimage will cease. Soon our happy hearts will quiver with the melody of peace. Yes, we'll gather at the river, the beautiful river. Gather with the saints on the river that flows by the throne of God. That flows by the throne of God.
May our prayers be heard and our hearts lifted up.
And I'd like to again express appreciation to Jean for her excellent sermon. And she really wanted to do a lot of parts of the service. So anytime you speak, I want to be the worship associate because it was a piece of cake. Okay, we have some announcements, and then our new great-grandma, Sarah Divers, will be up to share some good news with us. Just a reminder about safety consciousness, and that we're trying to make sure that the back door is locked. And there's several church members who are working with that group. And we have also dance. That's only recently that's been added, but dance like nobody's watching. And the first class is going to be on next Saturday on July 9th. Pack a snack needs. Yeah, July 29th. Next Saturday. Yeah. Okay. Just a reminder about Pack a Snack. We need to, and that's all listed, but we need to support this great effort. It's with a lot of different churches in the community. And now Sarah is going to come and share with us the news about restarting a live auction, which is a lot of fun.
Can you see me? Okay. Thank you so much for sharing what you had to share with us today. I loved it all. I'm Sarah. You can call me Great Granny. Either one is fine. And I'm with the auction committee. And I have a question for you all. How many of you would like a live auction this year? Woo! Okay. So that's number one. We've got that taken care of. Now, the other thing is we need help during the auction. Do I dare use the word volunteers? But it won't take away from the enjoyment of the auction. You still get to participate, but we'll need bartenders. Sign me up. We'll need spotters, people at the front door to give out paddles. So we need some help in order for us to pull this off. And we have lots and lots of ideas, but we really haven't done any solid planning yet because we need to get the volunteers and we need to make sure that people want this. And I think we're on the right path. It will be November the 10th from 4 to 7.
The 11th.
Oh, November the 11th. Thank you. I was just making sure you're paying attention there, Sherry. Everybody would show up the 10th, and what would we do? We'd still have fun. There'll be food, fellowship, and entertainment. Part of the entertainment, Judy Nelson. Yeah. Remember, Judy Nelson agreed to be one of the auctioneers with me. Talk about entertainment, right? That'll be fun. She's a blast. So we'll need items for you to bid on. So we'll be, gearing up for that. But Sherry is going to have this sheet for volunteers who will help during the auction. Okay, so it'll just be little hour slots. Like I said, you won't miss out on any of the fun. And this is a great way to raise money to continue our journey with the UU here in Roanoke Valley. Did I miss anything, Sherry? There was an Evite just to make. Yeah, there was an Evite that was sent out to many folks. So if you'd respond to let us know if you're able to make it on November the 11th, we'll know if it's worth making it live. And it's just guaranteed to be a wonderful event. Dare I say epic event?
The closing music is up on the screen, and it's Blue Boat Home, which is in Singing the Living Journey, the blue hymnal, and it is to a tune that you know. So please, you're welcome to sing along with us if you can see it. I try to make it dark on a slightly blue background. I don't know if you caught that. And the choir will sing along too. You're welcome to stand if you want. You don't have to.
Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my drive and heart can say, I've been sailing all my life, and never on board have I known. My universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue North Pole. Sun I sail and moon I rudder, as I fly a starry sea, leaning over the edge and wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue North Pole. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great wind surging beyond, breathing infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the firmament, never on board had I known. My universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue North Pole.
Aware and open and flexible and persevering. Let us return here remembering Amanda Gorman's poem. This coming week's journey may be on a rocky trail, but the way is no circle. It is an upward spiral.